Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're enjoying your afternoons out there. In today's video, I would like to discuss the topic of how do you actually know when you're ready to start applying for software development jobs or iOS engineering jobs, out in the real world. So basically this topic came up during a couple of my student mentoring sessions last week. So I thought it'd be interesting, kind of interesting for me to discuss my understanding of it all. And basically from my personal experience, I kind of have to break down being ready into two separate, categories. On one side, we have the mental and psychological readiness for the job. And then on the other side, we have the, the technical capabilities that you possess in order to perform at the job itself. So let's start off today by discussing what it really means to be mentally ready. So the truth of the matter is that you're probably never going to be 100% ready for these job positions, whether it be the very first job you're applying for, or if you're trying to switch from one job to another. And what it means if you are 100% ready is that you're probably overqualified for this position, or it means that you're going to be pretty bored at this new job because there's nothing really new that you have to learn. And also there's not going to be a real challenge for you to dive into. So now in my personal opinion, I think that if you feel you're 50% to 60% ready for a particular job, you should go ahead and apply for that job position. You never really know what a company is looking for in terms of a junior developer or a senior developer. You really want to leave it up to the company to kind of determine what kind of candidate they're looking for to join their development team. Now, having been on both sides of the table here, being an interviewer and also an interviewee, I can tell you that a lot of companies are looking for two different things. First is the cultural fit, and then there is the technical fit for the team. So speaking from personal experience, I've seen a lot of really, really gifted and highly technical candidates that we've had to pass on because they lack the proper communication and social skills for the team. And the reason why you kind of pass on this is because it's kind of difficult to see yourselves working with this particular person for 8 hours a day. Finally, the last thing I want to talk about here about being mentally ready is being ready for the actual interview process. So the thing about interviews that a lot of young junior candidates don't really understand is that interviewing is an actual process itself, and it only gets easier as you get more and more interview experience. Typically what I found is that every time I'm in the cycle of applying for new jobs, it's usually the fourth or fifth job interview that I go on where I actually get the offer. And I think the reason is because I get more and more comfortable as I'm more familiar with the interview process again, and it just gets a lot easier the more interviews you go on. The next thing I want to talk about here is being technically ready for whatever job you are applying for. And let's say you are applying for an iOS job. You have to possess the necessary skill set, and you have to demonstrate your ability to kind of perform on the job through the interview process. So let's say perhaps you are applying for a junior iOS developer position. What you really need to know is quite a bit. For example, you need to know about data persistence through core data perhaps, and then there's the networking, the image caching, data caching. Perhaps you need to know how to use the camera and collection views, table views, and maybe even using maps. So make sure you have a good handle on all of these topics. Now, ultimately, at the end of the day here, I give all of my students pretty much the same advice, and that is to just go out and apply. I mean, there's nothing really to lose at this point. You only stand to gain by going on more interviews, gaining more experience, and then, being more aware of what types of questions they'll ask you during the interview process. All right, so that wraps it up for today's video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you would like more videos like this. Keep on watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, guys.